Hey there. Today I'm going to describe how you can fully utilize your Death of Hades pack of contemplation cards. The tradition of using symbols and the meditation upon them as a means to gain greater insight into ourselves and a more clear vision of the world around us is an ancient one with a great variation and richness. In this video, however, I'm going to concentrate on describing the same approach as would be used in Renaissance Europe. This is because I honestly believe that's the last time in the Western world that this technique was fully utilized and expressed. So let's pick up the current where it was last. So the first step that we need to take in order to follow this pathway and to embark on this journey is to get into that Renaissance mindset. During that time, practitioners would indeed have decks of cards like this, or small books, or even pictures which were framed and in a wooden case, and they would use these daily as a means to bring a full expression of their hidden potential. The attitude that they would have towards them would kind of be similar to how we might feel modernly if we were taught some sacred yoga exercises up in a mountain of the Himalayas, or if we had found an ancient legendary tome which had secrets in it which no one had seen before. This sense of empowered endeavour is something that we need to cultivate from the beginning. A reassurance and a confidence that within you there is the potential to bring all good things into expression from inside out. This idea that there is a regeneration process which will restore you to your higher nature and allow you to bring blessings into the world. In order to reach this modernly, we need perhaps to take a little bit of time. In those days, the practitioners would be extremely well versed in the history of this kind of inner empowerment through symbols. They would have read Iamblichus or Plotinus. They would have seen that tradition as a thread running through all traditions, and know that symbols can be more powerful than any tutorage from a teacher or any insight just from reading words in a book. Modernly, we don't have that insight, so perhaps we need to use some tricky technique in order to allow us to practice without restriction. Some of us might find it an amusing idea. Perhaps we could smile at ourselves thinking that wouldn't it be wonderful after all these years of life to find that just pictures could open up more than any special technique or any famous work. Maybe we could suspend our disbelief, take on a persona for this. Maybe a sense of exploration would be very useful. You can imagine Renaissance gentlemen talking to each other with great passion and enthusiasm over their latest insight into a emblem or a symbol. We know that for some practitioners, this was most certainly a group activity. There are emblem books which have a piece of music, a lovely picture, and a poem, all to be performed together. So you've got all three things going on. That would certainly involve a bit of coordination and lead to quite a bit of discussion. So maybe you might want to partner up with someone in order to practice this. Likewise, if you don't have someone around you who's really interested in this kind of thing, there is going to be an opportunity for you to do this online. If you follow the link in the description box below, you'll find there's a Facebook group called the Order of the Golden Rose. And this is a specific group for those who are working through the deck and want to be able to share insights with each other. And you'll learn a little bit more about how these insights are empowering and important as I continue my description. So once you've sat and you've got rid of any barriers and you've cultivated that kind of inspirational, positive attitude towards this endeavour, what do you do next? Well, the next step is to learn the story behind the deck. So many of these emblem books or packs of cards would have a theme which would be immediately recognizable to the person using them. This might be, just like this deck, a continuation or a different slant on a myth or story. It could be something classical or biblical, or it could be a reference to a symbol that everyone knows, or a series of symbols that people all are aware of in a certain context, but changed into something exciting and creative. So before you approach this deck, you really do need to know the story of Persephone. So you should do whatever you need to do to make sure you're fully aware of this. Maybe you want to watch a film of this. Maybe you can look it up. Maybe you want to see a few different renditions. This probably will start a process of contemplation on the meaning of the story. And of course, this deck is a continuation of that tale. So the process has already begun. You already have a tool at your disposal that will allow you to start to move forwards with this practice. Once you've got step 1, the right attitude, step 2, awareness of the story in place, there is a guided meditation. And this meditation starts to focus on the theme. And the theme, of course, for a practitioner in the Renaissance would most certainly be the idea of achieving the transformation of alchemical gold. The idea is that there is an aspect or an insight or a process that you can go through which will allow you to turn all things to goodness. This eudaimonia, this sense of everything working, everything fully utilized, everything blessed by its own nature, is expressed within our meditation by the vision of Persephone herself. Just as Persephone walks so that flowers grow in her footsteps and that everything around her just is better by her presence, this deck is designed to bring you into direct contact and then eventually full expression of that aspect of yourself. So, once you have completed this guided meditation and maybe practiced it enough that you've got that feel, I would recommend just 14 days in a row of listening to that guided meditation and really connecting with those words would do this. Then it's time for you to move on to working with the deck itself. The next step is that of memorization. Now, in the Renaissance, the masters of this art knew the power of memory. They knew that whatever became part of your memory became part of you. So you should be very careful about what images or words you invite into your consciousness. They also understood that the mind learned better with real experiences and images than it would with just intentions or simple words. So during this practice, we need to make this as close to a real experience as possible by engaging all our senses and really concentrating on those images that we wish to store in our mind. Now, this is a very exciting part of our journey because it's the first time you work directly with the cards. And like those practitioners in times gone by, I recommend that you carry the cards with you and you make your practice twofold. One involves a formal time of sitting each day. The practitioners would probably sit in a throne posture. You can see the traditional references to this in one of my other videos on that posture. But you should sit in whatever posture and environment that is meditative and good for your focus. The cards are a series of different symbols which represent an evolution whereby all things express themselves in their ideal, most positive, most harmonious state. A Renaissance practitioner would be overwhelmed with excitement at the idea that you are going to tell the whole of your being through the memorization of a set of symbols that you wanted everything to be in harmony, to be unified, and to be better. They would fully believe that this would lead to a rebirth, an evolution, just by putting the symbols in to begin with. It would be as if, for the first time ever, everything that is you was told, I'm ready for this, I want to express this, it's time for me to bring the best forces within me forwards. It's time for me to shine. So go into this practice with that understanding. Now, some of the different cards have different feels to them. Yes, you should take on those different feels, but know the current is from your current state, your present state, all the way through to the highest sense of achievement possible within this lifetime. And enjoy this process. Sit for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, once a day, and just memorize the cards. Memorize them with the strong conviction that each one is a blessing, a hook to hang your intentions on later on, a signpost for your future evolution and journey. Your goal is to have that meditation session once a day when you go through all the cards, memorizing them in order and testing yourself on them, but also to have the cards as a review whenever you get a free moment. Carrying these cards with you, both in your mind and in your pocket, is a firm statement that you are ready to express what you are here for. You're going to be moved by higher calling from this moment onwards. Let this be a beautiful initiation, and know you will be ready when you can go through all the cards in your imagination in order, forwards or backwards. And if someone asked you, what's number 8? What's number 10? You'd be able to tell them with ease. But during this process, don't hold back if you want to investigate. You see, your mind likes lots of connections to memorize with. If you don't know a name, or you want to know a bit more about a figure, if there's a symbol you can't recognize, investigate and enjoy that investigation, allowing that to really place that card in your consciousness with a sure sense of solidity. Then you will meet with great success as the story links up, as the symbols are all in place. This in itself will be an initiation and an evolution, but most of all, it creates a foundation. The next step is contemplation. And in this part of your journey, you're going to start to build on those beautiful images that you have created within your consciousness. The aim is to muse upon the deck and discover the story of the journey, to really reveal the process which is underlying. Remember that this whole endeavour is to lead you to a alchemical transformation, to a regeneration, to a new way of doing things. Be sure that your heart's desires, your highest aspirations are at the end of this journey, but look towards the symbols as teachers to show you what that route will be like. Now, it's really important that I make clear to you that a practitioner during this time would see this as a passion rather than a discipline. They would love to put some time aside every day to really muse on the cards and go through them. They'd sit probably 20 or 30 minutes a night just puzzling out what's in front of them. Why is this a circle? What do the triangles symbolise? How many are there? Why is this number 1? What's the meaning behind this? Who is this figure and what does he represent? And this planet, this goddess, why is she linked to this planet? What's the planet's meaning? I'll go and have a look at the planet now and really try to tune in. I'm going to look that up. They would really connect with this and enjoy that whole exploration and investigation. The practice would most certainly be twofold. A time every day where they could really just reflect on the cards, but also an ongoing endeavour of exploration during their waking day-to-day life, where if they had a few spare moments or if they had a chance to talk to someone about something, the deck would be in their mind. They'd be investigating, exploring, they'd be finding out more. Now, all of these emblem books or emblem decks would come with a contemplation key or a set of mottos or description, something to inspire this understanding. But this would be a starting gun, not the racetrack. This would be something to get you going. Yes, some people would find those mottos and the contemplation key, that was the answer for them. It really connected. That's the story for them. But most people, they would find a way of letting the symbols talk to them and reflecting on things in a way that is personalized. The symbols are your teachers. So we know that people would cross out and rewrite things up or even get rid of the contemplation key once inspiration hit. And the interpretations are completely free. It may be that for you it's a chemical process. It may be it's a story of the creation of the universe. It may be that this is a lesson in how we interact with each other. It might be an astrological thing. Whatever the journey is to you, remember that it's an analogy for the journey inside that leads you to your full potential, to your flourishing, to your heart's desires, to your dreams come true. That's the vision that you're looking for. And this will come from a full expression of your higher self, of your your best possible manifestation. Once you've started to get a vision of this, once you can kind of see what that journey and adventure is, then you completed this stage and it's time to start that transformation and to go on that journey. So now it's time for us to embark on our great journey. We started our adventure by preparing our mindset, making sure that we had the right way of looking at things in order to go through this process. We then studied the story, the myth that this deck is inspired by, so we could tune in to the message and make sure that we understood everything. We then took this further through guided meditation. We connected with that spark of a pure goodness, this intention which is there to lead us to our destiny, to the full flourishing and expression within our life. Then, with this in mind, we took up our deck and we placed each one of the beautiful symbols firmly within our consciousness. Signposts to lead the way, hooks to put our good endeavours upon. Then, through great investigation and contemplation, we found the underlying story, the roadmap for us, the route through the mountains, the way of our journey. With this in place, we're now enabled to start that process. The way of doing this will be very similar to what's gone before, in the sense that it will be twofold. During your time in the evenings, when it's easy for you to be alone and just sit with the cards, you will start to contemplate each card in turn. Starting with the first, you will focus your vision upon it. Know that this symbol is a message for you. Behind it is a concept, an idea, a quality which you need to learn from through connection. It could be something that allows you to let go of things that need to go, or to embody an empowerment or a virtue that should be expressed. The goal is to connect to this through your mind. Just as your memory allows you to bring events from the past into your consciousness, now you are going to use the symbol as a connection with what is needed for the next step in your progress through life. Now, remember as you do this, that this is part of a spiral staircase up to your destiny, to the full expression of what you wish to achieve in this life, what you're here for. So approach with that kind of excitement and interest. Once you kind of get the idea, you can explore that. Once you get the feel, and your previous contemplations may give you some hints of what this is. So it could be a vow. It could be a sense of a greater expression of a quality you've got. It could be something that is going to change in how you live your life or do things or view things. It may be a truth that you need to fully embody. You need to move towards it through meditation. Your mind is going to become at one with that new way of doing things. This is the first part of your twofold practice, whereby the second will be your expressing this during your day-to-day life. You must embody that new lesson. Just as when you were musing about the whole path, you get to do the same with this. In the formal practice, you can still explore the symbol. You can explore the symbolism until you get that clear idea of what you're meant to do to pass this gate, to gain this initiation. The same during the day. You can go back to the card and reflect on the card until it unlocks its lesson. Once you've got it, or once you've got that insight, it's time to achieve that oneness with it. Oneness through meditation and oneness through genuine expression in the world. Then this teacher is going to make way for a new experience, a new sense of revelation, and you can move to the next card. Now, this journey tends to get more emotional and more connected and more inspirational as things go on. As you go up, the air becomes more rarefied. It becomes more light. You're moving towards that great good. You're moving towards that card. It's something to enjoy. It's something to see the results of in your life. Sometimes you will find a card and the lesson is something that's going to take a while. And you find your mind doesn't want to connect with it as easily as it does other things. This is because it's really needed. It's a very important thing for your life and for your purpose here. When that happens, remember that all things are one. Invite the right things into your life which resonate with this. So let's imagine the lesson is one of hope or one of joy. Let's imagine how you could do that. Are there other things in your life that don't resonate with joy that it's time to let go of? Or are there the things that in life do create that big resonance it's time to invite more of? This way, your inner reflection and your outer expression are one, and you can move towards that sense. You will know when you've got that lesson, when you become at one with that quality, whether it could be joy or the quality of silence, or whether it's a sense of a new way of looking at things. You will know when in your meditation you can sit undisturbed, pleasantly enjoying sitting in the shadow of that pure idea. And during your day, you are a force for harmony and balance, expressing this quality. Now, don't let go of the other cards when you are concentrating on one. Sometimes the real insight and connection will be from combination. The one before it, the one after it, one that looks similar to it. Allow that puzzling process to go on and enjoy that puzzling process. Embrace it fully. If you diligently work towards this, you'll start to see that it's almost as if you drew the cards for you, and the pathway ahead starts to become so crystal clear and beautiful that it's like walking on stepping stones across the river to the place you wish to visit. Sometimes it will take skill. Sometimes it will take patience. Other times you will need help from others or inspiration from unexpected places. Embrace all of these things as part of your path, because with perseverance, with a dedicated heart and a fully engaged intellect, you will find that soon you feel a sense of drawing, a sense of pull, one that you felt gently for a very long time, but was never so clear. As the final card and what it means to you comes into your view. My name's Martin Faulks, and I hope that this video is of use to anyone working with the Death of Hades deck and allows them to find their own way to utilize these symbols fully. Until next time, let's make every word, thought, and action count.